remember watching it and hours were going past and I was still hooked on it. There was a lot of shit that resonated and kept up to date with what Jared was putting out over the years.
Sorry I'm a bit late, boys. So, lads, nice to meet you all properly finally.
And you, man.
Yeah.
Fucking right. Boys together for the first time.
We were just discussing how we first got into Big Lez.
Oh, sick. What have I missed?
I'll tell you what I want to say first off, because I feel like we was getting into a bit of a flow of a conversation, which is really wonderful, because it's the first time we've ever even spoken. If we can work out how to record this, I feel like we'll get the most content.
I may have figured that out 5 minutes ago and already started, because I figured a candid start was better than none.
Oh, yeah, sounds good. Fucking skeets can. Okay, George, I don't mean to be mean. You kind of sound like Simon Sniffcock.
I don't know who that is, but it's better than being
From
told I look like McLovin.
Yeah,
How do you not know Simon Sniffcock, man?
I lived under a rock. How did I not know about the Big Lez Show until a year and a half ago?
That is fair.
I got into it, I think 2017. It was the year that I went to Barcelona with a friend of mine, because I'm a skateboarder and we were running a skateboard company. We decided that we wanted to go out to Barcelona and Europe and spread the word out there and get it outside the UK. But in the end, we only ended up spreading the word to one American kid that was on his spring break there. So our plan didn't really work out, but he was a really cool kid anyway. I still speak to him now. Anyway, the night before we flew, we went round to a friend's house to go and get stoned. And we ended up rolling up a massive, huge joint, which had shatter all around the outside. It was crazy. And we were just sat there in silence, and my mate was just like, oh, fuck it, watch this. Look, this little thing I'm going to put on. And he put on, I can't remember which episode it was called, the one where he meets Type and Pete in the desert walk.
Oh, no way.
He put that on, and we just sat there and watched it, and I just absolutely, fell in love with it from that moment. The cinematics at the start, I absolutely loved. And then it was the scene for me when he sat making his coffee and rolling up his doobskin in the garden, and it's all peaceful and serene and quiet, and it's absolutely just bliss. And then the tumour just comes through the window screaming, and it's just pure chaos. Absolute screaming, noises, things going everywhere. It was so unexpected for me, and it just absolutely destroyed me for the night. I was creasing, absolutely crying with laughter the whole time. And I think
that's so sick.
That's one of the things I love about it so much, is that somehow Jared manages to perfectly blend trippiness and just absolute bliss and serenity and enlightenment and introspectiveness. But somehow he seamlessly blends that with mass murder.
There's definitely a lot of gear switches in Big Lez.
Brilliant. I've been in love with the series ever since.
Yeah, I think it's really the comedy that brings people in at first, and then you just find out about all the other shit around it.
100%. When you're in your country and you make, say, a show or an animation or whatever that's based largely around sort of your culture and your dialect and the things you say and stuff like that, to make that actually get out around the world and spread as big as the Big Lez Show has done is quite amazing, really.
It's really inspiring just to see how much recognition it gets for just, a little Australian cartoon made by a guy on a little computer.
I mean,
yeah,
it's the reason my fiance and I are going to take our honeymoon to Australia. We started watching it together and fell in love with Australian culture through it, and I don't know, I feel like I have to go see it now.
There's something about Australia and the people of Australia that's just...
It's just the accent, man. It's so funny.
I mean, it's the accent, but it's also I thought my heritage went straight back to the Mayflower until I did some genetic testing recently. So I'm raised as American as it can get. And what's interesting about Australia is everything can kill you and you don't care. We're the opposite. Everything is safe and somehow we really care about that.
That is the perfect analogy for Australia and America I've ever heard.
See, it's funny because on the other side of the coin, you've got the UK where nothing can kill you, yet you don't want any of it near you still.
Yeah.
You do care.
Everything's
And
just a little
everyone
crunchy.
fucking hates each other. Yeah.
I feel like you still have too many relics and walls and weird boundaries left up from Roman wars, like the divide of Ireland. Like, come on. I know how many headaches that must cause. Get over it.
Listen, man, we just threw a big whole thing about some woman dying, okay? We've got
I
a
forgot
few
about
issues. I saw people just sobbing their eyes out over this woman they never knew.
It's interesting the divide that it creates between people as well. It's crazy the difference between generations of how different people view.
I guess the salient point of all of this is that, you know, when I think about Australia, there's that common link in that head of state. And I think that's what always interests me is in Australia as well, is that they have always been on the British periphery in terms of culture anyway. So to see something come out of Australia like this, it's quite relatable as somebody from the UK. Even from
Yeah.
you know, just like a really base point, I think it speaks to me in a lot of ways, which you know I could easily see in America, I could easily see in the UK. I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
we should stay on topic and away from politics.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
Sorry.
What were we talking about?
So, in that scene where we zoom out and we see all the different worlds inside the geometric circular shape thing, but is that shape all different versions of that same universe, or are they all different universes inside that?
Yeah, are they
just
meant to be all variants of like the same timeline, or are they kind of just completely different in every sense of the word?
I think that's it. I think they're all completely different in every sense of the word. And like the big geometric shapes are the expression of infinity, like an infinite complex amount of them. I think just getting back to what you were saying briefly there, George, was that with Sassy, I think there's like a purity to him. There's a lack of ego with him. It's his nature. He just is. It's very sort of zen. And I think because of that, he experiences the same situations in the same way. It kind of relate, you know, every situation resolves itself in the same way because he's the same. He doesn't really change. There isn't any ego to steer him one way or the other. But just like we saw with the magic jelly bean, you know, if you flip a coin enough times, eventually it lands on his side, and that's kind of what we saw when he refused to eat it and he threw it in the fire. It's like there's always this small chance that things are going to change, but just down to his essence, down to who he is, I just think there's not much variation.
What I think is interesting though is it kind of canonizes. You know how in the one where Clarence is like a producer or something,
oh yeah.
and then the story is Sassy just walks onto set one day. So is it possible that we are watching Clarence's show because Sassy essentially wrote what he's lived through multiple times? Or are we watching him live through it? If you get what I mean.
Oh shit.
I do sort of see that in a way because we do see, again, in the new series, we see that he goes back in time and goes and collects all of his friends from different points in time. So he's been sent to observe all the different things going on and take it all in. And in reality, he's almost created his own little world.
But I think it's interesting how all of the different Sasquatches are from different times, but it seems like Donnie is like the oldest one. Like, how far does that line go? I'm thinking, is there like
Yeah.
multiple Sasquatches, like a whole group back in Donnie's time, and Donnie just went missing?
I mean,
How do the Sasquatches reproduce? Like, are there female Sasquatches?
Oh, I thought about that. Yeah, there's none, are there? We haven't seen any anyway.
I used to think that all the Sasquatches were like Sassy, that they just were, but now it's confirmed that Sassy is kind of a god, and all the other Sasquatches are only, kind of fourth wall breaky because Sassy
Right.
kind of touched them.
And Sassy talking in that moment where Sassy talks to himself, where you see all the multiversal sort of entry points behind them, like they're existing, they're having a conversation outside of time, outside of space in that moment, and that sort of tells you that Sassy, the real essence of Sassy, exists outside of space and time. It's a transcendent, as Tom said, it's a pet now.
If that conversation they have is outside of time, does that mean when Sassy erases his memories and goes back in time, does he also have that conversation again? I think this is one of those things that's probably not. We're not going to get anywhere by thinking about that. I'm just thinking about it now. My head's hurting. Oh my head, my.
It's mad. It's crazy for what on the surface looks like just a simple, funny cartoon. It's nuts the depth that actually goes into it.
There's some real profound moments. I remember when Tumor Island 2, when Wake Up comes on for the first time. If you were reasonably high when you saw it, it was a really profound experience.
Oh, I was. That's why Wake Up is my favourite piece of music ever written. Because just the kind of enlightenment I came to after hearing Sassy's words then. I've always carried that kind of advice with me ever since.
Mm.
You've always got to look at things from outside of your perspective. Try and see things out of your personal judgment.
Yeah, there's a very sort of Zen undertone to I think Jared Alan Watts, Lao Tzu and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can see that. The songs from the original show are all sort of like, they're ingrained in my mind now, because when I was first watching the Big Lez Show was also coincidentally the same time that I was first dabbling with mushrooms.
Oh, no way.
My friend and I would spend a lot of weekends sitting there tripping on mushrooms, and we would listen to the Big Lez soundtrack, and I had the whole soundtrack saved in my Spotify as a separate playlist so that we could listen to it while tripping, and it just created the whole the playlist is just organized perfectly. You'd find during the trip the songs would just perfectly match the moment, and it would just guide you in like the most perfect way. And I don't know if Jared did that on purpose or not, but if he did, hats off to him, bro. It would feel like an entire story of itself. And I have moments, I'll listen to various songs from it, or I'll see scenes from the show and I'll hear those bits of music and it will take me back to that time, and I'll just think like, wow.
Yeah, I'd relate to that. Somehow Spotify, my algorithm picked up the fact that I like to listen to stuff from the soundtrack on my commute to work in the morning. I guess that is also coincidentally when I am the highest during the day, like just before I go to work. But it's gorgeous, man. Like you have those quiet moments with the headphones on, and you're going in the morning, and then suddenly, blooming, you start thinking differently. It's beautiful.
Yeah, like you said, they're ingrained in my mind. I hear like just a note from one of them songs, and I know exactly what it's from.
I think George said this as well. Is LPs. We want some vinyl soundtracks. That'd be insane.
Oh my god! It really is incredible. When I first saw the one where he, at the start of the episode, he walks up to the tree and leans on the tree and then sees the sunset, and it's got four playing in the background. The first time I saw that, I remember distinctly. I was lying in bed watching it, and I had a joint. I was just watching him walk up the hill, and then got to the tree, and then it switched to the scene where you just look at his face, and I instantly was just like, "I feel you, mate. I feel you." Like, I so feel you. And then you see the sun go down, and it was just like he just captures it so perfectly.
Yeah, you'd never think that paint would look so like gorgeous.
Yeah, it's all it is a sunset.
Yeah.
But there's so much in that sunset, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching that as well. I was as well in bed, equally high with a joint. I've always made sure to have a joint while watching each new episode.
It's a rule.
Yeah, it's a rule. It's just, I don't want to have one, but it's the law.
Someone's got to, haven't they?
Yeah, of course. If I don't, who's gonna fucking do it?
Fucking me, mate. Oh, it was great. And then it blends into that scene with where he sits down and talks to the caterpillar and just gives the caterpillar the pep talk. And at the
Oh my
time
god, yeah.
when I saw that, I personally needed that pep talk.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think
I was the same
you
way.
look at the comments of the video and you see everybody is just unanimously agrees like that pep talk, just everyone took it to themselves, not just the caterpillar.
Yeah, that's what I love. You can take the kind of out of context chat. It's like Sassy talking to Les about microscopic paint, but it applies to real life as well. It's like talking to a caterpillar. It's just amazing and profound, the shit he talks about.
And I think
That made that caterpillar's day.
it made my
Fucking
fucking day.
jealous.
I've done
Jealous
it
of that
since.
caterpillar.
When I've come across animals or insects in the wild, I've seen them and I've made sure to tell them that they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
What's going on, Mark?
Just imagine being that caterpillar sat there on a log. All you know is just eating leaves, nothing else. Your entire life so far has just been eat green things. And you sit there on a log at night and you're trying to get to sleep, and then this big monstrous Sasquatch just comes and sits next to you and then just tells you that you're the most amazing thing in the world.
Something really
Excuse
beautiful
me.
about that, isn't there?
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the reason that the show is quite, so successful. I think on average it's got 3.5 million views a video or something, or 1 million.
Fucking fair play.
Yeah, and I think the reason for that is that there's something about it which is relatable to everybody. It hits you on a very, very yeah. I think there's a lot to be, and as we said before, we've already touched on it again, just tying it into to the success of the show. Yeah, it's apparent everyone's got a story. They sort of relate to it on a deeper.
Yeah, I still remember like the first time I ever watched Big Lez, man. It was a magical experience.
That is the only word for it, isn't it? It is magical.
Yeah, because first you only see it for like the shit little cartoon. I remember like I was 3 in the morning. My mate messaged me like going, "You have to watch this," and it was the what episode was it? It was the license. Don't F1 vehicle
Fucks V
registration.
resuscitation.
The fuck's a V-hail resuscitation? It was that episode, and I just died laughing, and I just couldn't stop watching it from there.
Boys in blue, boys. Boys in blue.
Boys in blue, boys in blue. Where's Donny? Oh, I think he liked it, aye.
Oh
And
yeah,
still,
I remember
that moment,
the.
all Sassy's concerned about is a spider.
Don't worry, mate. We'll get more drugs. Oh, guess we're not going to the water park today, aye? No, that episode to this day is like one of my favourites. I love it so much.
I can't choose. There's so many that just like they're just incredible, and a lot of them are the earlier ones as well, the really short ones.
Yeah, yeah.
There was
Yeah.
some moments in those that were just quality.
I think what helps with them is how short they are, because it's like a quick punchline with a lot of them.
Yeah.
So it was a bit before the trippiness and that started coming into it, where it was just more, humour based. I think that really works for it.
I wonder if Jared planned from the start to make it into what it became, or whether in the start it was just supposed to be just some funny little short clips sort of thing. I wonder if from the start he had the idea of the universe in his head, or
I'd really love to ask him that, actually, because I know it was like, a lot of it was based off of Lost. That's why there was the whole island thingy and that.
When I spoke to him and we had conversations about this, and he said to me that one of the major influences he had on the structure of the series was the way that the Marvel Cinematic Universe had gone, with every character having something to contribute to an overall sort of meta story.
I got that when they started talking about the multiverses and when Sassy's higher self said that he was a watcher.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
planted Easter eggs in the early Big Lez Show episodes. So that my impression from talking to him was that this had been something he had planned from the offset, and that he kind of had a direction in mind ever since sort of day one, ever since those early days. There was always a continuity nature to the episodes. So, like, if you saw that something got broken in one episode, the next episode it would still be broken. There was a definite continuity and build up in terms of story.
I've got to say though, this is probably my personal opinion, but it's crazy to me how Jared handles the multiverse concept infinitely better than what Marvel's doing at the moment.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a story for another day.